YouTube. Hopefully this works. I don't know if it will work. It might work. It might be good. It might not be good. But there you go. First YouTube stream. Welcome, YouTube. I hope you've been well, because I certainly kind of have. I've been doing a lot of things. There's been a lot of things on my mind lately. I'll just get rid of that since that doesn't work anymore. So, hello, welcome to Stage Dance, where we stage dances. Let's see. So today is a big old update video on everything that I'm planning to do with this channel and everything that I would like to do that's going on. I completely forgot about my... Where are you? There you are. That's the other thing that I need to pull up. Hello, other thing. And grab... I said grab you. You go elsewhere. No, you go over here. Which is then brought over here. My notes. I want my notes. My notes are delicious to me. And then we add a... Not a multitasking. That's not what I want. I want to add a U. And we're going to go to over here. Ha! It works. Now I have my notes over here. I have the stream stuff over here, and I have the other stream stuff over here. I'll figure out more stuff as I go along the way. I haven't figured out yet how to bring like chat onto the hand successfully without like bringing the entire browser, because that doesn't work very well. I'll figure it out later. Anyways, so why am I doing like this? Why am I doing... I need to also pause that because that's distracting too. There we go. All right, that's paused. That's not paused, so I can say this doesn't matter. So I have a couple of things going on, and I'll get into it now. So the big thing that has changed that you might have seen recently was that I have been releasing YouTube videos online. So I saw some VTubers and I have saw some of their content, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I need to like focus. Also, my hands are now weird. I got new hands. You can't tell because they look like the exact same, but to me they're different hands. Because my old hands, the battery now dies at 1.5 hours instead of the full 8. But I have had them for like 5 years, so. And I could do like the battery replacement, but that requires me to get like little tools and like to shank them out and to shank new things back in, but whatever. Without further... Oh, also my audio is a lot better. I've made my audio better by like putting an expander and compressor on it. Then I also downloaded the NVIDIA audio noise suppression thing, and I put it down to like 60%. So like you shouldn't be able to hear the rattles anymore as well. And the P's and T's and the plosives should be better, as well as I figured out what an expander is and a compressor is. So an expander is like bringing the lows up high, and a compressor is bringing the highs down low. And I was just using the compressor and a noise gain, so I was just compressing all of the highs down to the lows. But now I've figured out how the expander works, which is it makes it so that the noise, that you have a noise floor where everything under that isn't anything, and everything above that is like kind of pushed up. So now like the quiets are really kind of quiet, but like you can kind of hear that I'm whispering instead of as like whispering like this the entire time. Yeah, so that's something. I also put a limiter on, and I figured out like there's a 3 EB thing, whatever. 3 band extra. I want to hide that analytic stuff as well because it's got stream health. Stream health is much better for me. Yeah, stream health. I like that because I don't like looking at this. Is basically, I'm pretty much probably going to be talking directly to people who are watching this in the past rather than people in the future, because there is no precedence for me streaming on YouTube. It's all on Twitch, which I am not streaming to right now. Well, let's get into that. why am I not streaming on Twitch, but I'm streaming on YouTube? Well, for one, I want to see how like the YouTube ecosystem works and see what it does better than Twitch, what it does worse than Twitch, what I can automate, what I can't automate. I can't use chatting anymore because it's not IRC things anymore. So I have to do the proprietary built-in thing, which is terrible. Attractive. But I've been thinking, like, what do I want to do with my life? If you've been with us for the past 4 months, I've been teaching a cohort of individuals how to do improv in VR chat. And I've been thinking, like, this next week is the last week that's going to happen. I'm going to be streaming that on Twitch, and then 14 days later, that VOD is going to disappear into the ether that is the Twitch purging system. So what am I going to do with my Sundays? What am I going to do with that extra time in my life? Because I've been putting things onto my plate that have been making it so that all my time is filled. So like every single day I have something to do. And the days that I don't have something to do, I wanted to fill something in there. So what I've been filling in is video editing and in video creation. So I have been reaching out to other streamers and other people that I don't know. Perfect. That I don't know and have been putting them on the spot like, hey, do you want to collab and want to do something like an edutainment thing where it's educational but also entertainment? And a couple of them have reached out to me, and there might be some things in the work. We might announce those later if those go through, which you might hear about later. But I've been doing long-form content reduced into short-form 10-minute videos. So you just released the what's it called? The how to stream on VR chat, and also how to how to make people laugh. That stuff, which is basically just a very short, compressed how to improv tutorial, how to be funny, which I feel like YouTube is weird, right? Because you have to put up a thumbnail that is expressive and makes people want to go, huh, what about this? And then you have to flip it in the title and add to it. You can't just say like future and then future again. You have to be like future and then like a question or like an emotional response thing. It's like, why am I doing this? Why am I here talking to you right now? And why am I posing a question and then giving the answer in the video or in the VOD that you're watching right now? Which I hope that somebody is watching this VOD. If it's you 5 years down the road, then hello. I want this to be some type of evergreen content. Kind of. But not really, right? Because this is an update video. But it's not really an update video. It's more of like my philosophy on why I'm doing the things that I'm doing and what's been going on and also a history of how I'm doing. Because this is the first VOD, the first live on-demand thing that I'll have had. History is fun, right? Because I've done streams in Twitch, and then I've highlighted those streams where I thought like these were the good parts. But then there's the Twitch part where it's like it's gone after 14 days, so I don't have to worry about any of the bad parts or any of the boring parts being displayed on air. But I want to get rid of that fear. I want to be able to not only get rid of that fear, but have a reason for that fear to be gone, which is creating content from start to finish in a live form avenue that is useful and beneficial towards the people watching it, not only during the information, but afterwards and beforehand. So that's why update videos get no views because there's nothing to do, but VODs you can watch and see real time, like my own thought process, which is insane. Have you ever thought about that? Like, if we go through history and be like, how did we get here? How did we get to like you are seeing anime person in front of you and like all the technology that goes on there? If we just take a simple frame, for instance, if we take a simple frame like Like that frame has to be encoded by my computer, sent through an electric signal, and then to the power lines that are then, I believe, sent through light, and not electricity anymore, to a transformer that then transforms that signal or signal back into analog, I think. Depends on what you're receiving this as, into a server, and that server is then sent through, is then retrieved by the people who are watching this. And then that signal is beamed through the air if you're on a phone, or is directly sent into your house through an electricity, all in like a couple microseconds or milliseconds, which is fascinating. Like all the technologies have to be in there, the infrastructure just to see what you're seeing right now. Like that's one video idea that I have is like let's take something super innocuous, like a picture of a Doki bird that you saw on the thumbnail, and like how does that get to you? What are all the things technically involved? What are all the things emotionally involved? What are all the things involved, uh, just to see what you're seeing? And then my inner dialogue is like, well, how do we make that entertaining? How do I make that something that you'd want to watch and that's educational, but also very entertainment and funny? And I think part of that, I was looking at Filian's content. And it's like, how does Filian go and do her content so that it's funny and engaging? And that's through like 3D presentations like this, and then just straight up turning off the environment and being in a blank void where you can put anything behind. And then if you really wanted to go ham, you can put on the green screen and say like, I approve of this message. That will never come back to bite me in the butt. Never, because no one's going to watch this and not only clip this, but download the VOD and then grab that information and then put that over to something else. Like, no, that will never happen. Whatever. Right, because you have like the oxymoron stuff. It's like, why do we do things that we're not told to do? Like, what is the I'm going through like all the ideas of video things that I might want to go through in my head already, but that's not why we're here. But yeah, like, why do people donate more when they're like, no, please don't do it, don't do it, don't do it? It's like, no, bad, stop it. What's the psychology behind donating culture? Huh. Like these ideas and like questions that I have in my head are things that I start to like write down, like the different things that I want to do, and then the different how do I answer those? Have those questions been answered already in like a TEDx talks, or is those things done to death? Like, what was the thing that I was thinking of today? There's a what's it called? I was thinking I was doing something and then something else happened. I don't remember. You know that doorway effect? That's something that I remember, where like you walk into someplace else and like you can remember a couple things, but then you walk into someplace else and like you can't remember anything about that whatsoever. And like the doorway, like if you remember like 3 numbers in this room and then 3 numbers in the next room, you're able to remember all of the numbers, just being in the separate rooms, which is weird. Recency effect, and then environment stimulation of different places. Like if you met your favorite creator once, you'll remember that forever. But if your favorite creator met you, they will not remember that, because they've met so many others, which is weird because it's the same amount of time has passed since the incident. But because of like sensitivity and like overstimulation, decreases the amount that people will see what you have to see. Like that's so much there to deconstruct and like to like what am I thinking and like why am I thinking it? Yeah, but why am I doing this? Why am I streaming on YouTube? I think part of me has like a little hope that something will come of it. part of me has a little hope that I'll be able to influence at least one person. Have one person to be able to say, you know what, maybe I'll make a video. Or you know what, maybe I'll like go look at doing improv. And if I could have like the next Stephen Carell like watch a silly little video of how to make people laugh, and then they're like, you know what, this improv thing sounds kind of weird. Let me look more into it. And then they become like, that's all I can ask for is just influencing one person at a time, because each person that ever watches this, you're a person that's sitting in that chair or standing at the bus stop or celebrating your birthday, and you're like, yeah, this cake is kind of awful, but I'm done playing Fortnite, so I want to like watch whatever is on the first recommended page. Like that's so insane, right? Yeah. I've been looking at technology and how the brain works. I'm looking at how to make this a more spectacular version of me. It's like I have enough trackers to do like elbow trackers, but I haven't set them up because I don't have knee trackers. And like I've been thinking about making like face tracking and eye tracking. And at what point do I invest into stuff like that? And I think the point that I invest into things like that is when it's a solid investment. Right now, all of this VR chat, the models, the creation, I have everything that I need to create the content that I would like to need or like to make. But to create more content that's like that would require extra money investment, somewhere on the order of like $1,000. Like, what do you think would be a reason for that good investment? That would be if the investment is going to do dividends, whether those dividends are through an emotional stake investment or whether that be through the investment of the monetarily. And right now I can create everything so I'm emotionally fulfilled, but am I financially fulfilled to make this even better? Because getting an extra tracker for the knees and the elbows and getting the extra straps and stuff all set up just so that when I go like this, my arms don't flap. Because I'm literally just moving my wrists back and forth. I'm not like physically moving my elbows back in and out. Yeah, but all that technology stuff, that's something that is, it's only worth it if I feel it's worth it. And it won't make a difference whether or not you see my content. I could be a blank PNG VTuber, virtual tuber, or VR tuber, virtual reality tuber, if you would so happen to be that. And if no one ever sees the content, then it doesn't really matter how well put together all of this tech is. It doesn't matter how many elbow trackers or knee trackers I have. I've come out and I've said what I had to say. And I'm not specifically talking about elbow trackers, but or having a face that moves correctly or anatomically, but is run through different visemes and different mouth shapes through the sounds that were made, and then the eyes are just tracking whatever. They go wherever, whenever they want to. Yeah, so that's it. And that's also something like I wish I could turn on in VR chat is like how often I look at the camera and like being able to look to the side and yeah, because I don't control where I look, I'm pretty sure, which is weird. It just kind of chooses a random point in space. Yeah. So let's go down my notes. Down the notes of the things that I wanted to talk about. And you know what I really hope is happening right now? That I don't even know if it's happening is if any of this is coming through at all. Let's do a live test and see what's happening. Yeah, cool. It works. It all works, and voice is coming through, and hopefully the audio is really well. So I don't know. Streaming to 0 people, and that's why I think that the VOD is going to do better. Yeah. So what are my plans? What's the future like? Why am I doing this? Why am I streaming? So part of it is to have a single strain of thought. Part of it is to get out through all these different notes and these different updates and have it in a separate place as opposed to the videos, because the videos are content that I think is worth it for people to watch. An update video is not worth it for people to watch outside of the time it was made, because you'll either see the fruits of that labor 2 years down the road or you won't. A 2-year-old update video means nothing. But in the streaming section, as far as I know, YouTube is committed to having like the tab and having like a live section of videos. But that might change 10 years down the line. They've already changed it already. So right now you have to go to the live section in order to see live videos that were streamed to YouTube directly. So that's something. Let's see, what else is there? Yeah, there's that. Something going on the notes. Corporate VTubing is a thing, which is interesting. Like, people will hire people who are diamond in the rough, who want to share with themselves like their talents and like have a mutual beneficial and symbiotic relationship with the corporation, because the corporation can bring them up, give them resources to do what they need to do, and also give them both that publicity to turn people towards them. But then who are they marketing? They're marketing the customer, which is the consumer, which is you, the person watching. And it's you guys that make it so that that investment is worth it for them, which I find really fascinating and attractive. I feel like I would be a good fit, but a good fit in a weird way. Because I don't know if like I would have to do some like finagling, because I've done a lot of things. And so depending on what the corporation wants, depends on what I give them. Because I've been doing like musical improvised singing, right? And doing like vocal training and different things has broadened the range of possibilities of things to do, which is insane. There's so much there. But the corporate VTubing has like a specific like style or thing that they want. It's like, well, I can probably give you that style. You just have to like pick the different traits that you want. It's like if you want the novelist and the improvised singer, let's package that up and let's make that like a theme. If you want the game developer and the comedian teacher, let's package that up and let's put that over there. If you want the scientist and like social engineering person with like good collab, let's package that up and put that over there. But hopefully, like, yeah, hopefully stuff will happen. I don't know. I think corporate VTubing is a fun way to. It's like it's the only audition that I think you can do for content creation, where you can start from nothing, and as long as you have the skills, be able to make it in an industry. Acting is kind of the same way, but you can't do that virtually. You can't do like a virtual body, a virtual self for acting. You can do voice acting that way, but it's a lot less of the skills that I've honed as a improviser, which I love. I love improvising. That's my whole bells and whistles. That's the bottle of milk that was left out in the sun because no one thought that the milk person was something that still existed. But yes, they do, because that's how I was born. Scratch that. Don't worry about that. It was also a lie. That's a blatant lie. Downloading YouTube videos in 720p. Yes. Why? Why can't I personally download my own videos in 1080p? Why is that even a thing? I don't know. That's insane. Like, so I was trying to like put some highlights and stuff together and trying to download like my original video to because I don't have that footage anymore. I don't know where that footage is. That's elsewhere. That's like 5 years ago. And so I grabbed some of the footage and it's downloaded in 720p. In order for me, the creator of the content, to download my own video in full HD the way that I originally uploaded it, almost, is I have to go to a third party download application that downloads the 1080p version of my content. Why? If I want the original file, I have to go to the Google Takeout and then select that I want videos, and then it will zip up every single video that I have and send me the original back. Where's the middleman? Where can I be like, hey, Google Takeout, can I get this video? Oh, please and thank you. Now I have it in original format. Oh, hey, YouTube, can I have my full 1080p version from your site? Oh, hey, thank you. I know that there's Glacier farms out there for server farms where like you put it into like low storage stuff where it's like super old hard drive stuff that are there forever and rated and whatever. And it's like, it takes a long time to grab all that stuff. But YouTube, you're already serving the 1080p video to people. Why can't I personally download my own video at 1080p? That's ridiculous. Okay. Oh, I don't know. AI facial recognition. So AI facial recognition is a thing that I learned more about yesterday. So I was always wondering like how AI facial recognition worked and like how do you make it so that you like so quickly are able to look at like have like the Apple ID or whatever, look at your face and then unlock a phone. They don't do like a whole training set on like which features and stuff are kind of like your features and then match that up to things. No, what they do is they take your thing and then they take your face. They give that face a number and then that number, and then they encode that face into a number, and then they see how far away the two numbers are. So if you did one face looking sideways, one face looking like this, and then they see how far away those two numbers are, or like 127 numbers, however many dimensions and things you have, and see how closely those match together. And that's how they tell within a margin of error whether or not it looks like them. So they train all this data set to be like, all right, when we input this image right here, let's send it through all of this code algorithm, and then we're going to make sure that we are still matching the same image over, like it's still the same human. And they do all of this testing and all these things just to create an algorithm. So all of the different input parameters come up with the output parameters with all the different weights and possibilities and metrics and different random number generation. And all of that is trained. So it goes through and it says, all right, that number wasn't close enough, so let's raise that number a little bit. So they send another one through. All right, that number was too big. Let's put that number down a little bit. All right, that number. So it's like building a giant mathematical formula. And they're tweaking all of the little formula pieces all at a time until they come up with the perfect formula for matching faces. And once they've created that formula, then they lock it down. They're like, all right, whenever we send one face through, we give it the number, and that number is X. But the reason why it takes so much time isn't because it takes so much time to get from input to output, but because it takes so much time to change it just a little bit and try it again. And that's why like training models take so much time. But then you can use the training models for things like self-driving cars and AI facial recognition. So that was interesting. Like, oh, I got a little bit more information. Like, we don't know what the numbers are or why that works the way it does, but we know that we've had all these numbers, have all these neurons and these different nodes and heuristics, and that because all of these numbers are the way that they are, they're able to facial recognition match, or they're able to ChatGPT continue to go on. I wanted to create a video about that, but then I saw that there were so many videos about that. There's like, oh, well, I'll just share with you live. So that's something that you can research as well. Incremental games. Yes. So incremental games are amazing. So I do so much of my brain on my job and then on some of the content creation that I do that I can't sit down and like play Sekiro and like be like super stressed and challenged because I just want to sit down and do nothing. Please let me do nothing whatsoever. So I do a little bit of nothing, and I do that through incremental games because I have a very strict format for like incrementing like one at a time. You click a button, you mindlessly click a button until you buy the next upgrade. Mindlessly click a button until you buy the next upgrade. And any incremental games that are more complicated than that, you can have it. I'll just be over here with my mindless button clicking. That's why RuneScape was something that was so addictive. Is so addictive. I'm addicted to it, but I don't play it anymore because it wastes the player's time on purpose. Ugh. Like it does not respect your time. Time is the asset that you give RuneScape, and you don't get much out of it. Like you mine for hundreds of hours. Like you click one or two buttons for hundreds of hours just so that you can mine another rock and do it for 100 more hours. There's no extra incentive that's in there. It's all implicit motivation, which is why that game is so addictive. Is because when you get into the weeds of it's implicitly rewarding, and there's no like story beat or there's no like cool unlock that has you play like a whole story arc and has you like emotionally and like gameplay wise fulfilled. Like you don't like that doesn't exist in RuneScape. It exists a little bit maybe with like archaeology or something, but like the vast majority of that game is intrinsic reward motivators by making one number go up one level exponentially. Markdown language. I've been looking at Markdown language just a little bit, just a little note that it's interesting how like Discord uses markup language still, and they haven't gone to a straight what you see is what you get. Because which is interesting. Like, I think Reddit went from Markdown language to what you see is what you get editor, and you can just copy and paste into that editor something that's bold from like Microsoft, and it will translate that in the page into something that's bold. I don't think you can copy like something bold from Windows and put that into Discord and it will be bold there, which is just an interesting thing that Discord still uses Markdown language. There's been a lot of talk about, I won't go into specifics too much, but there's been talk about like corporations, NDAs, and policies. And so let's say you're trying to be hired for a public job at, let's say, Twitch. And you have to sign an NDA agreement that you will not disclose like specific information, like you won't disclose company secrets and stuff like that. But then immediately afterwards, they'll give you the contract for like, here's the things that you agree you will do for this company. So they don't give you they don't give you that backwards. And when things leak and people don't get in trouble, that's because they didn't sign the NDA before they were given the contract of their assigned tasks. So the only reason why they have you do an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, or an agreement not to say or do anything before they give you a contract is because that contract is better for the company than it is for you. And that's like the reason. Now there's a secondary tertiary reason. It's because it's grandfathered in. It's like, this is how all businesses run. And therefore we will run our business like this. That's why take like MMD models, like VRChat is full of MMD models. Because that was the easiest thing. That was the easiest thing to do, and then everyone just kind of copied that, and then it became like a thing that everyone did. So what companies should do is still have the non-disclosure agreement, like don't do company secrets, and like don't do like all these things, like don't dox people, don't like give away information, make sure that company policies and like PR is handled correctly, and like all the stuff that probably should happen in the company that you're like, be a good person, like here's your NDA disclosure, like don't disclose like personal information on the internet or whatever. But then they should also be like, here, here's the contract. You can show that contract to the internet. We don't care because we know that it's good for both of us. And if people saw that contract, they're like, I want to work for that company. That company's pretty cool. Do you know how much clout the internet would give you if they're like, all right, here's what you are going to do to work for us. Here's like your payouts and like this is what we're going to do to help you with your things. Like here you are. And it's such a good PR move. It's such a good PR move to disclose your contracts to the point that it might be more beneficial than the shady contracts that you're going to give your talent anyway. So if you're going to be like, all right, here, you're going to be working for Twitch as a programmer, and we're going to give you this compensation and this benefits, but also you're going to work at least 16 hours a day, and you're not going to be paid for that extra 8 hours. We're clarifying there, but the reason why, yeah. So if you have a reason to hide your contract from public ridicule, then you need to change your contract. Because if you can't, the more open a company, if you look at like Coffee Stain Studios and the way that they handle their PR and the way that they handle like their game updates, are like, all right, this is the reason why we can't get to this information right here. They are super beloved by their community, and like everyone has a positive feeling towards them, and people are like, yeah, I'll, like they're doing it right, like they're doing their company right, and it's like making Satisfactory, like that's pretty cool, and everything's kind of public and like in the open. It's like communication is key, not only to like your loved ones and whatever, but like between companies and the public. If you have bad communication, that's either because you're either bad at communicating or you have something to hide. And if you have something to hide, that's going to bite you in the end because your talent is going to start leaving. And then when people finally find out, because they will find out, because there's going to be a PR nightmare because of the bad contract you put them under. Don't crash. Hello, Vive Wireless. Welcome back to London Living. All right, so how much better would it be if like everyone was looking at your content or like your contracts before you signed it, and they're like, here, Twitch programmer, this is your contract, and you can share this publicly with the internet. And then they go and share that publicly with the internet, and if the internet is like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. And then the employee turns around and is like, well, hey, like this wasn't fair because of my contract thing. And then everyone was like, what do you mean? This contract was like pretty good and like it was reasonable. And like you let all of us know, and we were like, yeah, go for it. Like that just blows all of that PR right out of the water. They're like, I guess it's my fault, whatever. And then even if like it was like, all right, you're going to be working 16 hours a week, but you're working for Twitch, like that's your goal, and you chose to say yes. It's like, well, that's on you, bro. Like you showed us, and like you're working 16 hours a day. And so I think that public communication is only a net positive. There are immediate backlashes for like not being able to like overwork your employees and like do shady things. Like you can hide shady things, and you can hide shady things for years, but eventually when the PR nightmare happens, like the stock market is all about your public persona. And if you want your public persona to like be good, if you want people to trust in your company, if you are open about your communication with the public, like that's such like a big brain move to be like, okay, yeah, you did make like a really shady contract, but like we saw that beforehand and we're like, whatever. If that person signs it, it's whatever. And like, yeah, I think open communication is the way to save face publicly and to make it so like stock prices are pretty stable. There's like, yeah, like here's all the information. We've given you the information from the start. Just there's nothing that's changed. So stock should either stay the same or go up. If people are leaving because of whatever reason, like it should be a lot less of a hassle. And that's my opinion on like NDA agreements and like hiding behind shady contracts. It's like just make a good contract and show that good contract publicly, and everyone will love you for it. There's going to be haters, but there's going to be haters and everything, but that's going to save your butt in the long run when stuff goes down, because stuff goes down. AI generated games. Yeah. There's actually AI generated music. In 15 seconds, I was able to make a song like from Suno. Let's see, what's the attribution that I have to give to them? Yeah. So and by me, I mean the AI. Like I entered in a prompt, create like a VR chat, like bluesy thing, and then Suno created this music in like 15 seconds.
Lost souls in a digital haze. AI whispers through a virtual maze. VR chat filled with shadows and despair as technology consumes the air. Stuck in a world that's not their own. AI taking over, no place to call home. Lonely avatars wandering in this game. VR chats in ruins. Nothing's the same. Once a place for joy and connection, now overridden by AI's obsession. The bluesy melody of VR chat weeps as it slowly sinks into the deep.
So that was made by Suno AI for free or in like 15 seconds. I just said, make a VR chat song that's like bluesy melody stuff. And it created the lyrics, it created the music, it created all of that. That's insane. That's like, yes, you can tell that it's AI generated, but also that's pretty cool. Like, that's like music that I like to listen to. This is pretty cool. Reminds me of like Kyle Styles or Stibbs. Yeah, but like the ethical compromises that have to be made. Like, hopefully that AI was built on people that said, yes, you can take my music and train on it. But like, it's so insane. Like, that's just gonna happen. And I feel like you can just create an entire game of AI generated everything super, super easily and just like putting it together. There's like video editing software and so many like AI generated things that I hope, like this was my hope for AI Dungeon, was that eventually we'd get to the point where we'd have a fully like good quality AI game where you can just play it and it's the exact game that you want to play. Or like you can talk to NPCs and they'll talk to you. And you can like have not radial quests, but AI quests that mean something, that have a story that continues. If you take a look at like Neurosama and like the history and the memory that she's starting to get to like remember things, and it's all in the works. And an AI game is something that I've been dreaming of, like a good AI game. There's so many bad AI games. There's built with like one prompt, like make a game. And it's just gonna make stuff. But like a good quality, something that I'd want to play. And they'll get there probably within my lifetime. That there'll be a fully automated AI game, which is insane. It will probably take me out of a job. But I'm excited and terrified about that technology. Like there's so much like good that can happen with it, and I'm excited for the good. But there's like so much bad that can also happen with it as well. Like, yeah, there's well, like job taking over is just one thing, or making people believe in things the way that, yeah, because AIs will be able to manipulate us just as well as journalist companies do. And I was actually reading up on a documentation about uh, like like a full journalist article on something. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And then I read the title of the website and it was like AI generated news. And I was like, wait, none of this is real? I was like using this for research and I was like, ugh. And then I had to fact check everything. It was terrible. Like setting is Spanish. Yeah. So that's all my talking points. We're at 40 some odd minutes. So yeah. Uh, so what's in the future? I'll be continuing making videos. I hope at least once a week, depending on when I have free time. And I want to create at least like one video a week for like the next 5-ish months or so, at least through the summer era, and see how those do, and see how creatively bankrupt or whatever is happening over that time, and see what different topics I can come up with, and if I go dry on topics or kind of funny because like I have all these topics that I'm like researching. Like I want to do like an Athens thing where I talk about like Greek plays, but then like 6 months ago, like there was fancy theater that the internet historian did, and everyone reacted to that as well. And I was like, oh, like I learned about Greek theater in college, and I want to do one of those. So I might like make that a stream thing and read it instead of a video thing, and do like a presentation thing with the environment gone. Or I might like, and then like highlight that for, I don't know. I don't know. Do. Anyways, that's all the things that I wanted to talk about for today's update. So, see you 1 or 2 people that will ever watch this. If this ever blows up, that is going to be super weird. Yeah, so I will talk to you all later. Bye bye.